Hello everyone. Moving on with the remaining portion of reproduction in sporophytes of pteridophytes, let's first of all recapitulate what we have discussed, what we have studied so far. अभी तक हमने different spore producing organs discuss किए हैं. We have also studied the structure of individual sporangium in case of pteridophytes. Here you can see that this is the individual sporangium and this is having two parts, stalk, and this is having the body. And this body contains some cells which are known as spore mother cells, and these spore mother cells, they undergo meiosis and they result in the formation of four spores. Okay, and these four spores, they are attached to each other. They are attached to each other in the form of a tetrahedral arrangement. This is what tetraheads of spores means. Okay, that means inside the body of the sporangium, spore mother cells which are determined to become spores, they undergo meiosis and result in the formation of tetraheads of spores. And these tetraheads of spores, they later on dissociate. That means the individual spores get detached from each other. They detach from each other and they later on germinate, resulting in the formation of gametophytes. Okay? Now you know that how spore formation takes place in sporangium. It takes place by meiosis. Okay, when spore forms, the sporophytic generation it ends, and now the gametophytic generation begins. Okay, at the time of formation of spores, you can say that the sporophytic generation has now came to an end, and this is the beginning of the gametophytic generation. Okay, now the structure of spore in pteridophytes. The structure of spore in pteridophytes, it is quite unique. The spore wall is 2 to 4 layered, but in some cases the outer spore wall it breaks up, resulting in the formation of 4 spoon-shaped hygroscopic elaters, as happens in case of equisetum. Okay, you have to remember the spore wall in case of pteridophytes it is 2 to 4 layered. In case of equisetum, the outer wall layer it breaks up, and this results in the formation of 4 spoon-shaped hygroscopic elaters. Here you can see 4 spoon-shaped hygroscopic elaters, and these hygroscopic elaters, they can lose water as well as they can gain water. Okay, and these elaters, they help in the dispersal of the spores. Okay, now you are having spores. The spores, they germinate in 2 stages. The first stage is spore swelling of spore. Okay, the spore, after it is dissemination, after it is dispersal, it absorbs water and it increases in size. That means swelling of spore takes place because of imbibition of water. The second stage is spore extension. What happens during extension? The emergence of germ tube takes place. A germ tube comes, for example, this is the spore. First of all, it swells, and after swelling, here you can see a germ tube emerges from its wall. That means the spore germination has started. And after germination, it gives rise to gametophyte. Here you can see it gives rise to gametophyte. Okay, let's forget about it for time being. We will discuss the structure of gametophytes in a separate topic. You know that in pteridophytes you are having 2 types of species. You are having Heterosporous species and Homosporous species. So we will briefly discuss the differences that exist between these 2 types of species in pteridophytes. Okay. In Heterosporous forms, you have several microspores which develop inside a microsporangium, whereas you have only a few megaspores which develop in a megasporangium. ठीक है, हेटेरोस्पोरस स्पीशीज में 2 टाइप्स के स्पोरेंजियम बनते हैं. एक को हम बोलते हैं माइक्रोस्पोरेंजियम, second one is known as megasporangium. In microsporangium, a large number of small spores are produced which are known as microspores, whereas in megasporangium a small number of large megaspores are formed, which are known as megaspores. Megaspore अंजम में कम spores बनते हैं, but these spores are large in size, and these spores are known as megaspores. Okay, and you have to remember that the heterosporous species of pteridophytes, they are always dioecious. Okay, they are always dioecious. What dioecious means? That means जो microspores है, the microspores which are produced in heterosporous pteridophytes, they give rise to male gametophytes, and the megaspores give rise to female gametophytes. Okay, और मेल गेमेटोफाइट में हमेशा एंथ्रिडिया प्रेजेंट होगा और फीमेल गेमेटोफाइट में हमेशा आर्चिगोनिया प्रेजेंट होगा. दैट मीन्स सेक्स इज completed in two different individuals. This is what dioecious means. Okay, and one more important thing that you have to remember about heterosporous pteridophytes is the development of gametophyte is endosporic. Okay, the development of gametophytes, it takes place inside the spore wall. The important point that you will remember for once for all about the heterosporous forms of pteridophytes is in heterosporous pteridophytes, the microspores, they form male gametophytes and the megaspores form female gametophytes. That means they are dioecious. Now the homosporous forms, homosporous pteridophytes. The homosporous pteridophytes are those pteridophytes in which there is no difference in the size of spores, or spores are equally sized, and most of these species are monoecious. That means when the spore germinates, it gives rise to a gametophyte. The gametophyte can have both the antheridia and the archegonia on the same gametophyte or prothallus. एक ही gametophyte पे antheridia भी हो सकता है और एक ही gametophyte पे archegonia भी हो सकता है. ठीक है, याद रखना, होमोस्पोरस टेरिडोफाइट्स में जब गेमेटोफाइट बनता है फ्रॉम ए स्पोर, द गेमेटोफाइट कैन हैव बोथ एंथ्रिडिया एंड आर्चिगोनिया. एंड द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ गेमेटोफाइट इन केस ऑफ होमोस्पोरस टेरिडोफाइट्स इज एक्सोस्पोरिक. द गेमेटोफाइट्स डेवलप आउटसाइड द स्पोर वॉल एंड दे कैन बी प्रोटेंडरस और प्रोटोगाइनस. याद रखना, they can be protandrous or protogynous. That means when a gametophyte is having both antheridia as well as archegonia, sometimes antheridia matures first, then matures the archegonia. This is known as protogyny. Protandry. And sometimes, in some cases, it is the archegonium that matures first and the antheridia matures later. This is known as protogynous. Proto means first, gynous means female part. When female part matures first, when archegonium matures first. ठीक है, protandrous means when male part matures first, when antheridia matures first. Okay, I will repeat. जो homosporous pteridophytes है, they produce spores and these spores give rise to gametophytes, and the gametophyte can have both the male as well as the female sex organ. That means antheridia as well as archegonia, and hence we can say they are monoecious. They are monoecious. Both male and female reproductive organs are present on the same thallus. Okay, and these gametophytes, their development is exosporic. They develop outside the spore wall and they can be protandrous or protogynous. There are some examples of homosporous pteridophytes in which the gametophytes are dioecious. ठीक है, but majority of the homosporous pteridophytes are monoecious. Some examples are there. For example, pteris is there. Pteris shows dioecious character. ठीक है, that means the gametophytes, they are one gametophyte is having antheridium and another gametophyte is having archegonium. ठीक है, this is all for today. Inshallah, next time we will discuss the structure of gametophyte and the sexual reproduction in pteridophyte.